morning, everyone. Welcome back to a brand new edition of the GSMC Basketball Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Fatemi. We got a packed show lined up for you guys today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday morning. Early start to the weekend, last day of the week. And honestly, if the Thunder and Nuggets gave us any sneak peek of what this weekend has in store for us, we have one of the best weekends of the year planned up. Last night we saw the Nuggets take out the Thunder in Game 6 to force a Game 7 back in OKC. That game will take place on Sunday night. But start off the show, we're going to recap this game, discuss what it means for the Denver Nuggets, how they pulled this one out, and we're going to take. You'll see exactly where I'm going with this. But to start off the show, we're going to take a look at this in the Denver Nuggets perspective, see what it's looking like for them, and the keys, what they need to do to win games, ultimately win Game 7 back in Oklahoma City. From there, we're gonna switch gears over to we're gonna switch gears over to the Knicks Celtics game later tonight, Game 6 between Celtics and Knicks. Obviously, the Knicks up 3-2. Obviously, no Jason Tatum on the floor, rupturing his Achilles in Game 4. This is easily the biggest game in Madison Square Garden since they made it to the NBA Finals back in 1999. They haven't made a conference finals in 26 years. They haven't won a closeout game against the Boston Celtics in TD Bank Garden. So if they want to get it done, tonight is the night. Unless you want to revisit those demons back in Boston, that is up to you. But I think if you're the New York Knicks tonight, you close out the series in New York, and we'll discuss everything about that in the upcoming segment. From there, we'll switch gears back over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to talk about what would happen if they possibly lost the series and give a little bit of a sneak peek into the offseason. And then we'll just close out the show, giving some power rankings and giving my predictions for both tonight and over the weekends, the games over the weekend. So, pack show lined up for you guys today. Obviously, the playoffs starting to come to a close slowly but surely. So, instead of these 3 games a day, 2 games a day, we're only getting 1 every single day. And then eventually we'll get 1 every 3 days. And then we'll get no basketball at all. So we just got to experience this, enjoy this for what it is. And yeah, playoff basketball at its finest. But before I move any further, I'd like to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so I see it, and also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net for all your questions and comments. Let's get right back into it here. This is last night's game. I was not joking. Game 5, I said it was the biggest game we've seen in the playoffs, and it was. Game 6 did not disappoint either. And now we have a Game 7 lined up between 2 teams that, honestly, I would say this is one of those series that they don't emulate each other. This is 2 teams that have strengths and weaknesses in completely different categories. Obviously, the Oklahoma City Thunder have depth, have shooting, love to play fast-paced transition-style basketball, while on the other side you have the Denver Nuggets that love to play bully ball in the interior. Love to pick and pop, love to use the pick and roll with Nikola Jokic and pick and pop it out to Jamal Murray on the outside to knock it down from deep. They also have Christian Braun. They have Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. This is a team that Russell Westbrook. This is a team full of guys that can play, can shoot the ball, can get hot whenever they want. You have obviously Jokic, Jamal Murray, but for that number 3 option, it's kind of you can always mix it up, basically is what I'm saying. But yeah, this is a Nuggets team that's playing exceptionally well right now, led by Nikola Jokic. And last night we have to give flowers to a role player for the Denver Nuggets that we just simply did not expect to play the way he did. Julian Strawther. I'm not joking. Strawther is one of those guys, he's underneath Peyton Watson. Peyton Watson's the 7 or 8 option, if you want to call him that. Yeah, he's the last guy, the rotation that you put on the floor if you're David Adelman and the Denver Nuggets. And for him to come up last night and go off for 15 points, 15 points for Julian Strather, 15 vital points that pretty much, especially during the fourth quarter, knocking down timely threes time after time. The Thunder just didn't know what to do. You have Jokic on the outside. You have Jamal Murray. You're trying to you're trying to trap both of them. You're trying to have somebody else beat you. You know you have your eyes fixated on Christian Braun, on Michael Porter Jr., on Aaron Gordon. And then this guy, Julian Strather, comes up and absolutely pulls the rug on from under you. The Nuggets came back in the third quarter, and honestly, it was just a phenomenal performance from the Nuggets all around. To play the way they did, to utilize the depth that they usually don't have, but showed up tremendously last night. Nikola Jokic, 29 points, 14 rebounds. Jamal Murray, 25 points. Christian Braun, 23 points, 11 rebounds. Like, three guys that can go into double figures, two guys that go for double doubles. You have Christian Braun that absolutely stepped up. If you guys have been watching the show the last couple days, you remember I've been kind of saying you need Christian Braun. You need to shoot the ball better. Your teammates are putting faith in you, putting the ball in your hands, and you have wide open looks. You have to knock down wide open looks when you have the opportunity. 2 for 13 in game 5. I think 2 for 14 in game 3. The only game that he did well in was, I think it was game 4 when it was either game 3 or it might have been game 3. He had 17 points. Then game 4 was when he shot 2 for 14. Like 8 points, 10 points, 6 points. This is Christian Braun we're talking about here. Say Michael Porter Jr., who is is struggling shooting the ball. Aaron Gordon is struggling to shoot the ball. Both of those guys don't even compare to the volume of shooting that you get in Christian Braun. So it was nice to see him shooting the ball better. He definitely needed it last night, shooting 3 for 6 from 3, 8 of 14. Definitely much more efficient, and it came through last night for the Nuggets because they absolutely needed it. Strather was the fourth leading scorer with 15. Michael Porter Jr. also with 10 points. So that's 5 guys that got into double figures last night, and 3 of them with over 20 points. 2 of them with a double-double, and then Aaron Gordon with 5 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Crucial points, crucial rebounds, crucial second chance points for the Denver Nuggets. I've said it before. I said it during the Clippers series, and I said it before this. Actually, no. I said it during the Clippers series, and I said it right after Game 1 happened, because the second I saw the way Game 1 transpired, the way the Nuggets were able to control the game, I knew that this was going to be a common theme, just like the previous series. The Nuggets' ability to rebound the ball, rebound the basketball, and dominate the glass is going to be the reason why they end up winning this series. This game now goes to a Game 7. This series now goes to a Game 7 where anything can happen. Anything is on the board. There is no worst case or best case scenarios. Every case is on the board. Every case is best or worst. It's 50-50. It's a coin flip. And if we're really gonna go into this, right? Let's go into this right now. Why not? Obviously, I've said it before. You need the stars to show up in a Game 7. It's all about Jokic. It's all about Jamal Murray going up against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren. But really, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I'd say. Shai is the top guy there. The rest of the guys, you can say Chet, you can say Jalen Williams, but these guys are all incredibly young, and they play more as role players. And we'll get into this later in the show when we discuss the other side of this conversation, because we'll get into the OKC perspective as the show draws on. But in the case of this show, in the case of this segment, this is about the Denver Nuggets being able to dominate the glass. When you have 2 guys that's able to go off for double-doubles and rebounds, combined for 25 rebounds in total, you have 8 from Jamal Murray, you have 7 from Aaron Gordon. That's the type of performance that will dictate a game. It wasn't even their best. We've seen, if we go back to Game 1 here, we saw the Denver Nuggets dominate them even more on the offensive glass. Why? Because the way that they play, the way that they're able to just the second anybody shoots the ball, the way they're able to hustle, get to the ball before anybody else. The way that their physicality, their strength on the inside. Jokic, obviously, Jokic is a mismatch for anybody. Chet Holmgren cannot guard Nikola Jokic. The only guy that has a chance is Isaiah Hartenstein, and Nikola Jokic has been eating him up for lunch using his footwork. It's footwork against Hartenstein, and it's just pure bully ball, strength against strength for Chet Holmgren. So this is Nikola Jokic we're talking about here, and I know he showed up in Game 5, and he also showed up in Game 6 last night, and I expect nothing less in Game 7. This is Nikola Jokic we're talking about here. This is the pirouette monster that's hitting pirouette threes over Chet Holmgren in Game 5. This is the guy that's able to destroy the interior of the paint. This is the guy that can get to the free throw line whenever he wants, can shoot fall-away jumpers whenever he wants, can pass the ball, can shoot, can facilitate, can assist. He does everything. He is the best at everything. And honestly, this is a Nuggets team that I just think we'll discuss this a little bit later, but I think the Thunder are one piece away, and it's the same common theme I've said every single time. Every single time the Thunder lose, every time the Thunder win, I've pointed out, and like I said, I'm gonna leave it on that note because we're gonna discuss this later on in the show. But yeah, major props to the Nuggets coming out, winning Game 6 on their home turf. Now they go back on the road to Oklahoma City for easily the biggest game of the playoffs and the best series of the playoffs so far. These are two teams that have played exceptionally well. MVP case versus MVP case in a Game 7, and it just gives me I cannot wait. I came on here and I said I hope this series goes 7 games, and I said it since day one, and I'm so happy that it is because if there is a series that deserves it, it's this one. So that's just my case on it. Major props to the Nuggets, and we'll tackle the Oklahoma City's side of things as we enter the show later on in the show. But I'm going to take a short break. Coming up next, we're going to switch gears over to the Boston Celtics, New York Knicks series. Back over to the Eastern Conference, the Pacers awaiting the winner of this series. Game 6 tonight between the Celtics and Knicks in New York. And my God, is New York going to be loud? We have a lot to talk about in this series, and yeah. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mayor Patemi. Getting into our next segment here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Boston Celtics, New York Knicks, Game 6 tonight, and is what is going to be the biggest Game 6, or the biggest game in New York for the Knicks since 1999, in my opinion. I said Game 5 was? Well, no. I said Game 4 was because it was in New York. But the series, switching gears back over to New York after the Celtics pull out a crucial win in Game 5. Without Jason Tatum, just team basketball at its best. That was the best. That was one of the most unselfish games of basketball I've seen out of the Boston Celtics in years. if I could think back to a team this reminds me of the 2017 Boston Celtics without Isaiah Thomas, led by Jason Tatum, led by Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier obviously on the team, Jay Crowder back in the day. This is a team that is just flowing and firing on all cylinders right now, going up against a team like the New York Knicks, full of talent from top down, pretty much very much built to beat the Celtics team in terms of wing perimeter defense, rebounding, shooting. They have a good mix of everything, and then of course you have Mr. Clutch, and we have a lot to talk about him, absolutely. And that's what, honestly, in this segment we're gonna tackle the New York Knicks perspective side of things. I'm doing the same thing as I did in the last segment. You'll see exactly where I'm going with this, but yeah. Before I move any further, I'd like to remind you guys to please like and follow the show for more GSMC Sports Network content. Also, we get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask that you use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. Just put your question at the top of the list so I see it, and it also really helps out the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net for all your questions and comments. Now, I've said it before, you guys are a big part of what we do here at the GSMC Sports Network, so leave a question, leave a comment, any take that you want me to answer, leave your takes in the comments, and I'll see if I agree or disagree with them. I'll discuss them. Whatever the case may be, we appreciate all of that, and it makes the show much more interactive. So we appreciate everything, as always. But let's get right back into the show here, because that is what we're here for. We're here to talk some basketball. So let's talk some basketball. This is about the New York Knicks. This is about Madison Square Garden. This is about 26 years without reaching a conference final. The last time this team was in this situation was 1999. 1999, when they went to the NBA Finals. On top of that, a little nugget of information. Did you guys know that the Knicks have never beaten the Celtics in a closeout game in TD Bank Garden in Boston? They've never done it, ever. They lose game 5 2 nights ago. And then basically what I'm saying is they're praying and hoping that this does not reach a game 7. I'm honestly praying and hoping it doesn't, because it's over. It is what I like to call wraps. It is curtains. The curtains close. The end for the New York Knicks. If this series shifts back to Boston for a game 7, Jalen Brunson will show up. Mikal Bridges will show up. Josh Hart will probably show up. Outside of them, I'm taking the any Celtics over the rest. Any of them. I think this series is going to come down to this game. And I think it's going to be a battle. It is going to be a war of a game. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the playoffs. Why? I could see a Knicks blowout. I really could. I could see the Knicks coming out hot in the first half. Similar to what the Thunder did to the Nuggets in game 2 of their series. Similar to what the trying to think of another team here. I'm drawing completely. Oh, what the Lakers did to the Timberwolves in game 2 of their series of the first round. This is going to be a battle. Plain and simple. And it's going to come down to who wants it more. It's going to come down to who makes shots, unselfish basketball. We need to see another masterclass game of Jaylen Brown facilitating the offense. He did a phenomenal job in game 5 with 26 points, 12 assists. If that's what the Celtics need to do if they have a chance. For the Knicks, you have to get Jalen Brunson going early. You have to get him shooting the ball. You need to get him to find his rhythm. He needs to spearhead this offense. And I wouldn't be shocked if we see one of those classic Jalen Brunson 40-point games in New York. A legendary performance. I would not be shocked if we see a legendary performance like that from a Jalen Brunson. On top of that, this New York Knicks crowd is going to be crazy. This is a game that is priced right now. Actually, I don't know what the current prices are. I know what it was as of 2 days ago, the second the Celtics won game 5. The prices were at $855 just to enter the building, just to sit in the balcony. almost $1,000 for a second round series. Obviously, it is a game 6. Obviously, it is against your arch rival in the Boston Celtics. But the New York Knicks fans have been dreaming for this moment to close out a series, have an opportunity to close out the series on their home turf, on their home floor, to cut the lights on the defending champs, to end their season in New York. It's a dream for any New York Knicks fan. And they're going to be ready to go. They've been ready to go. If you guys just look on social media, look it up on YouTube, look it up anywhere. Just look up Knicks fans playoffs 2025, and you'll see them all sprawled out on the streets, all everywhere from 7th Avenue to Broadway, everywhere. New York City is going to be mobbed, absolutely mobbed tonight. Fans standing outside the building, inside the building, bars, restaurants, anywhere you guys go around New York. If anybody watching this is from New York, be ready to sit in lines, be ready to see a lot of Knicks jerseys, be ready for packed venues, because that is going to be the theme of tonight in New York. But yeah, get Jalen Brunson going early. Let the crowd get into it. What the Celtics are going to look to do early on is to take the crowd out of the game. Joe Mazzulla has gotten a lot of experience over these last couple of years. Jaylen Brown is obviously an experienced player, has been to 6 conference finals, has won an NBA championship, has been to the finals twice. He's a phenomenal player, and he will have his guy. Jaylen Brown will look to take the crowd out of it early. But if you're the Knicks, get Jalen Brunson going early, get Mikal Bridges open shots, Karl Anthony Towns. If you want to contribute, stay out of foul trouble, and keep your focus on shooting the ball. That is what I have to say. Do not try and be one of the bully ball typical centers, because you're not. You're not that. Unfortunately, that is how you get into foul trouble almost every time. Because if you say there's a Derek White on you and you try to bury your shoulder into his chest, he's just going to take the charge, and it's going to be an offensive foul almost every single time. So if you're Karl Anthony Towns, do not play with your back against the basket. Shoot the basketball as much as you can. Jalen Brunson, get your shot going, get your rhythm going early on. OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, keep doing your things. And if all goes well, I really think the Knicks can win this game. I really do. I'm picking them to. It's on their home floor. Their fans are ready. They're just ready to pop. They're a spark. They're a win away from blowing up New York City. Because if the Knicks make the Eastern Conference Finals, New York City is going to go crazy. It's going to. This is a team that has not had a whole lot of success in the James Dolan era. Now, since they brought Scott Perry in and Leon Rose, who's the current president of basketball operations over there in New York, they've had much more success over the last few years. Bringing in Jalen Brunson, bringing in Julius Randle, who they've now traded to bring in Karl Anthony Towns, bringing in OG Anunoby, even though I don't like it, trading 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. They still have Mitchell Robinson. They still have Josh Hart. This is an incredibly deep and talented team across the board. So I'm picking the Knicks tonight. But segueing right into my next segment, I can't count out Boston. After the way they played in Game 5, the continuity, the team basketball, the shot making, it felt like they found a rhythm in Game 5. It felt like they finally got a spark. They corralled the locker room together. They got some chemistry. They started playing team basketball again. That's pretty much what they did in Game 5. They played team basketball to its purest form. So, do that again. That's all you can do if you're the Celtics, and that's exactly where we're going with this. I'm going to take a short break. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at the Celtics side of things and how the keys to the game so they can force a Game 7 on Sunday afternoon. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mayor Fatemi. In our next segment here, we're going to tackle the topic of the Boston Celtics, the keys to this game tonight against the New York Knicks, how they can win this series, or how they can win this game and force a Game 7. We can't go ahead. We cannot say that they're going to win the series. We can't. Not yet. It's just not right. This is a Knicks team that deserves the respect, that should get the respect it deserves. So we can't say that the Celtics are going to win this series yet. However, let's talk about tonight, because this is what it's all about. This is step one. This is a two-step process. This is step one. What do the Celtics need to do to force a Game 7 back in Boston? Well, I touched on it a little bit in the segment before. I didn't mean to. I wanted to keep it Knicks only and keep this segment Celtics only. I hope you guys are seeing what I'm doing here. If you're the Celtics, you have to come out with energy. You have to come out with energy if you're the Celtics. You have to come out and punch the Knicks in the mouth. Plain and simple. Literally plain and simple. You cannot let this crowd get into it, start backing the Knicks early on. You cannot let Jalen Brunson take over this game early on. If he starts shooting the ball, you guys have to respond. You guys have and start trading blows. It's the only way. It's the only way. Start trading haymakers, trading three-pointers, trading dunks, getting to the free throw line. Everything. You have to match their intensity, because the New York Knicks got embarrassed in Game 5. They got absolutely destroyed in Game 5, and they're going to be coming out with a burning fire in their chest. They're going to come out like they got shot out of a cannon tonight. If you're the Celtics, get Jaylen Brown going early, get Derek White going early. Whether you decide, there's been a question mark, whether you decide to sit Kristaps Porzingis or not to start the game. That's a different conversation for another day. We saw Luke Cornett play unbelievably well in Game 5. Going off for 10 points, 7 rebounds, 7 blocks. 7 blocks. 5 blocks in the third quarter. That was Luke Cornett. Looking like the second coming of Bill Walton. That was Luke Cornett today. Or 2 nights ago. If he can continue to play at that level, I think the Knicks could be in trouble. It's going to be interesting to see what Joe Mazzulla decides to do, though. I could see him deciding to sit Porzingis to start the game, started Luke Cornett, or go small ball, put Al Horford at the 5, even though he doesn't want to, and switch Peyton Pritchard over to the shooting guard. Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, and Al Horford. It's a small ball lineup. It's not the greatest lineup. But in terms of shooting, in terms of trying to match up with the Knicks offensively, especially if Porzingis is not shooting the ball well early on, I think it could pay dividends. I really do. And Peyton Pritchard has played phenomenally in this series. He's had multiple 20-point games. He's probably been the most consistent Celtic outside of really Jason Tatum before he got injured. So major props to him. He's continuing to make a name for himself in Boston, Peyton Pritchard is, and he's earning that contract extension that he's seeking out. So if you need shooting, you go small ball, you plug Peyton Pritchard into that lineup. I also think tonight has to be a Drew Holiday game. I really do. I think Drew Holiday is the X factor in this one with his how he's going to be able to play defense on Jalen Brunson, how he's going to be able to knock down shots offensively, how he's going to contribute offensively. I think that is the key to this game because the Celtics the Celtics are still a talented team. They're still a great team. However, they're not one of the deepest teams in the NBA. Not anymore, at least without Jason Tatum. They need Drew Holiday to pick up some of the slack. Jaylen Brown will do his best, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see a 30-point game from Jaylen Brown tonight. I expect Derek White to continue to play at the level that he is. I expect like a 20-25 point game from him. Peyton Pritchard, 15 to 20 points. Drew Holiday is the question mark. Sometimes he goes for 5 points. Sometimes he goes for 15 to 20 points. And this is one of those nights that you need a quiet 15 to 20 points from Drew Holiday. If he can get his shot going, this Celtics team is so unbelievably dangerous when he gets his shot going. He not only is able to play defense at a high level, but he's able to also contribute on the offensive end. And it's something that he doesn't do very often. Not because he doesn't want to, but just because especially when you're getting up in the ages, like Drew Holiday is, approaching over 30. He's already over 30 years of age. I think he's approaching 32. If I had to guess off the top of my head, I can check really quick. 34. He's approaching 35. This is Drew Holiday that's getting up in the ages, and he's only has a few more years in his career. So if you're the Boston Celtics, you probably do not bring Drew Holiday in after his contract. If not, trade him in the offseason, which we've heard remarks about the Celtics trying to cost cut. But that is a conversation for another day. If you're Drew Holiday, you get your shot going early on. Just try and put up a couple shots. Make sure they're open. Do not take tough shots. Just take middies. Get into the interior. Take what the defense gives you. I feel like in the first 4 games, the Knicks just took what the Celtics gave them on the offensive end of the ball. That's what it felt like. And in game 5, it felt like the pure opposite. The Celtics making plays, making crucial cuts, playing team basketball, the basketball on a yo-yo. Tom Thibodeau just could not scheme. I don't think anybody could scheme a defensive. I don't think they could have created a defensive scheme for game 5. I think the only way you were beating the Celtics in game 5 is if you matched up with them offensively and were able to match their shot making. That's the only way, because that is how good the Celtics played in game 5. That is how well they played. So like I said, take the New York Knicks crowd out of it. Get Jaylen Brown going early. Get Derek White going early. Drew Holiday, take open shots if you have them. Take what they give you. Take what the defense gives you. You could be a facilitator, and you are, and you played unbelievably well in that role in game 5. But we know you have a shot. We know you have incredible defense, and that's part of it, and you're going to need to step up there against Jalen Brunson. But they also need you offensively. The Celtics need you offensively, or else God knows how bad this. I think this Knicks team could blow out the Celtics in New York. It really could happen where they blow them out by 20. I just don't see the Celtics wilting under the pressure like that. I think it's possible. I just don't. Unless Jaylen Brown has a horrific game and the Celtics can't muster a basket the same way they did in game 1, where they couldn't buy a basket for their life. If that happens again, I could see the Celtics. Sorry about that. I could see the Celtics losing this game. But if Wednesday was any indication of how this game was going to go today, it is that we have to give the Celtics credit where credit is due. We have to give them an opportunity to prove themselves. They've earned it, so we're going to do just that. Porzingis, if he can get out on the floor somewhat healthy, feeling a little bit better, I think the Celtics team it would just continue to prove my point about the Celtics team. But yeah, I think it's about the shot making of the Celtics. It's about the assists and beyond. Um, the rebound, obviously the defense was crucial in game 5, and I think that was a big part of the scheme as well. So if they can recreate that, I think the Celtics are in a good spot. If they can get the Knicks out of whack, if they can just mess up the game, just muck up the game. Think back to how the Pistons play. Think back to how the Magic play. That is how the Celtics have to approach game 6 tonight. They have to just show up and muck up the game. Just make it a dirty, not dirty, but physical, no easy shots. Make everything tough for the Knicks offense. If you can do that, it gives your offense an opportunity to get kick-started, especially if they start off quiet, if they start off cold. Give them an opportunity to make some shots. Give them an opportunity to build some momentum. And if the Celtics defense can get stops, I think it would only fuel that offensive momentum. It's like a volcano that's ready to pop. You can build pressure, build pressure, build pressure. That is what the defense can do by getting stops. But eventually that volcano will explode in an offensive explosion. And that's what you need if you're the Celtics. You need to reach that climax. So that's my take. I think the Celtics have an opportunity tonight to do something unbelievable, force a game 7 back in Boston without your best player, continue to rally around one another. There's going to be another question that we have to revisit in the future. The Celtics team, at least in game 5, has looked much better than they did in the first round or the first 4 games of this series with Jason Tatum at the helm. So it's going to be a discussion once again about the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum leadership role, and we'll have to talk about that in the offseason, especially if the Celtics win this game in a similar fashion. But yeah, Knicks Celtics 7:30 tonight, game 6, and I cannot wait. I'm picking the Knicks, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. I'm just going to watch. I'm picking the Knicks, but I'm just going to watch. And props to the Knicks if they win. I hope they do. They better win. And like I said, the Knicks have never closed out a series in TD Bank Garden. Ever. So if we're going to stick with that criteria, this is a must-win game for the New York Knicks. This is it right here. This is their game 7. And they're going to play do or die basketball. That's just my take, and I'm going to leave it on that note. I'm going to take another short break. Coming up next, like I said in the top of the show, I probably should have realigned them better, but nah, I like the order that I've gone with. Coming up next, we're going to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to take a look at them. What happened to them last night in Game 6 against the Denver Nuggets, and talk a little bit about the keys to that game, how the keys to Game 7 over the weekend, how the Thunder can pull out this series, as well as what would happen if the Thunder possibly lose this series, which is now very much a realistic possibility right now. But yeah, you're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows. Available everywhere podcasts are found.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Jesus, I have an eyelash. As always, I'm your host, Matt Fatemi. In our next segment here, we're going to switch gears back to the Western Conference, back to the Nuggets, back to the Thunder. And I said we were going to start. We started off the show talking about the Denver Nuggets. Now it's time to talk about the Thunder. A lot of people will say I probably should have waited. Probably shouldn't have waited, and I should have just rolled with this topic as soon as as soon as we talked about the Nuggets. But I think the way that the Nuggets, we had to cover how the Nuggets played last night, obviously in a closeout game. And then, of course, we had to talk about the Celtics-Knicks because that is a series that is now circled on everybody's calendars right now. And it's it's eye candy series right now. Now, this is the Oklahoma City Thunder we're talking about here. This is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, we're all 98% sure he's going to win the unanimous MVP award. It hasn't been announced, but we're all pretty sure that he's going to. This is about Shai. This is about the team that finished the season with the best record in the NBA, a team that's played incredible basketball all season long, and a team that is now sitting in a Game 7 situation, kind of in a way understaffed. That's what it feels like. And I'll explain exactly what I'm talking about. This is an Oklahoma City Thunder team that I've lamented throughout this series. The reason they will lose this series, and they will not make the finals or win the finals, is because they are missing a legitimate number 2 option. You have Shai. You have an incredible team that can go 10-man deep into the rotation, and it keeps you guys fresh. It keeps you guys in the scheme that you guys want to play. It keeps you in the style of basketball that you guys want to play. I absolutely understand it, and I back it 100%. But in the playoffs, it comes down to star players because of the way the game is played. The way the game slows down, especially in the fourth quarter, it comes down to the stars of the game. It comes down, for example, on the Nuggets side, it comes down to Nikola Jokic. It comes down to Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and whoever else you want to throw after that. Whoever comes after that is a superlative award. We give him props for that game. For example, last night was Christian Braun. Many nights the X Factor is Aaron Gordon. Some nights it's Michael Porter Jr. Last night it was also Julian Strather. Some nights it's Russell Westbrook. These guys are just like the pick and pop. You can plug them in, plug out kind of guy in the third option that will go off for 15, 20 points, sometimes more than 20 points. That is how we have to consider those. That's how we consider those players. But you have the top 2 guys that you can count on to go get you a basket. They are the stars of the show, and then you have a good team behind it. In OKC, it is one guy and then a great team behind it. But when that one guy starts missing shots, you have to count on the great team behind it to carry the slack of a number 2 option, of a backup guy that is reliable, can shoot the ball, can be that guy. They do have a guy by the name of Jalen Williams. But Jalen Williams, I've frankly been disappointed in you this series. And yeah, I'd say this series. I think he played well. I think he played well against the Grizzlies. He had a couple 20-point games and was shooting the ball very well. In this series, he's been attacked. He's been hunted out as the mismatch to attack every single time he's on the court. Jamal Murray is attacking him. Michael Porter Jr. is attacking him. Aaron Gordon is attacking him. Jokic, for God's sake, is sometimes attacking and hunting that pick and roll wing defender. And a lot of times it is Jalen Williams. Sometimes we saw Alex Caruso in Game 5. Sometimes it's another player. Sometimes it's Shai. But we know Jokic loves to hunt down mismatches like that. But this is about the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this is about Jalen Williams that we're talking about here. This is a guy that had multiple 20-point games in the regular season. Had a lot of 20-point games in the regular season. Had a bunch of 30-point games and had multiple 40-point games. So that's a Jalen Williams we're talking about here that I don't want to talk badly about. But when you're putting up 10 points on 2 for 15 shooting, or it's frustrating. And I'm not a fan of I'm not saying I'm a Thunder fan. That's not what I'm saying. But like Jalen Williams last night, 6 points, 10 assists, cool. But this is the same conversation that we had about Tyrese Halliburton in the regular season. He loves to do assists. He loves to facilitate the offense, get his guys in open spots. I get it. But what differentiates him from the regular season in the playoffs is his offensive efficiency skyrockets. Absolutely skyrockets. And then goes from those 6 to 10 point games with 10 assists to 20 points and 13 assists. Sometimes his assists go down to like 8, but still they hang around the 8 to 12 yard margin. 12 a game margin. But averaging about 20 points in the playoffs. If he can step up as a legitimate number 2 option, I mean, you still have an opportunity on Sunday to do so. Step up in the moment, take the spotlight, and show up. It is Game 7. There's only one Game 7. This is the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the Denver Nuggets. These are two teams with MVP candidates on their teams. These are two teams that are incredibly young. You have the Nuggets, experienced, have won the championship 2 years ago, and a Thunder team that is gaining experience right now and is just figuring it out as they play. They already made it farther than they did against the Mavericks last year, when the Mavericks took them out in 6 games. If you're the Thunder and you lose this series, it is going to be pointed back to Jalen Williams. And it's not Williams' fault, but it's going to be pointed at Jalen Williams because he is the current number 2 option that a lot of people trusted and labeled to be the number 2 option for this Thunder team. No matter how many times people said he's young, no matter how many people said the game is different in the playoffs, this, that, and the other. Nobody listened. And I don't want to sit on the mountain of right, but the Thunder are missing a number 2 option. There is a guy by the name of Giannis Antetokounmpo on the market right now, and there is a guy by the name of Sam Presti with a boatload of first-round picks sitting in his arsenal. If he wants to make a run at Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think he has the best trade package to offer for a Giannis. But at the same time, this is the same Giannis that is saying, I want to stay in the Eastern Conference and compete for a championship. So he doesn't even want to go to the West. He doesn't. If you're the Thunder, you need to pursue him as much as you can. And you have to go after front office to try and get him there. If front office likes him enough, likes the deal enough, they will pull the trigger on it. But at the same time, this is Giannis we're talking about here. If the Thunder can acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're automatically my title favorites. I think that is the only thing that they're missing in OKC right now. They're just missing that quintessential big man that can get rebounds, can defend, can shoot sometimes, mainly defend, and can honestly battle in the post against somebody like a Jokic, can battle against a guy like Anthony Davis. Either of those guys will go ballistic against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Why? Because they're just not big enough. Isaiah Hartenstein is not good enough to be able to lock down a guy like an Anthony Davis, like a Nikola Jokic, guys with incredible footwork and are incredibly crafty to create their own shots. Just you know what I'm talking about. The fake spin move, the footwork, being able to shoot off your back foot, this, that, and the other. That is what Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis can do. And specifically Nikola Jokic in this series, that is what he's been doing to get his shot going early on. He will just take the fadeaway jumpers. He will get to the interior for a layup, into the interior for a dunk, and nobody can say anything about it because it's Nikola Jokic and he's just bigger than everybody on the court. The only guy that has an opportunity to maybe even have a chance, I guess, as two guys, Isaiah Hartenstein with being able to match up with him strength-wise, and then Chet Holmgren's height, being able to raise his hand to block Jokic's shot. But it hasn't worked yet. It really hasn't. So this is a Nuggets team that have the Thunder reeling. They've had the lead in multiple games, some of them blown. They've come back in some games that they haven't been able to finish off comebacks. This is game 7. This is for all the marbles. This is to advance to face the Minnesota Timberwolves in the conference finals. And the Nuggets are one of those teams that I'm still going to say you cannot count them out yet. They're a team that is still hungry, still ready to go, still just, I feel like they're hiding their true intentions. The Nuggets are. They're hiding their true strength and exactly what they can do. I think if they can get the Michael Porter Jr.'s of the world going, they can get Aaron Gordon going. Christian Braun played very well in Game 6. And I think they have an opportunity to knock off this team in the Thunder in Game 7. We'll talk about my prediction in the next segment here, but yeah, that's my offseason sneak peek. Go after a big man, go after a number 2 option, and continue to keep the core group of guys that you have. But go after another shooter. Go after a big man. Maybe you don't 100% need a big man, but another shooter would be quintessential. Have a guy that Jalen Williams can play under for a little bit, can switch back and forth in the starting lineup with. You can move him to the 3 sometimes. Somebody like, honestly, a Michael Porter Jr. could be great. I'm trying to think of anybody. Somebody with height, somebody who can shoot, a two-way player would play incredibly well in this scheme for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But that's my take on it. I got the Nuggets winning this game in Game 7, and we'll discuss why in the segment coming up here. I'm gonna take one last short break. Coming up next, I'm gonna give my power rankings of the NBA right now, including the Boston Celtics Knicks series, including the Thunder and Nuggets series, because we'll just count out the teams that are no longer in the playoffs. But there are still 6 teams, I believe. 2, 4. Yeah, there's still 6 teams left in the playoffs. So we got to pick somebody, and we will. We'll give the top 6 list next, and I'll give some playoff predictions for both tonight and the weekend coming up. You're watching the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Don't go anywhere. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mayor Fatemi. Getting into our next segment here, we are going to switch gears over to the playoffs as a whole. I'm going to give my top 6 playoff power rankings right now, as well as my playoff predictions for both tonight and on Sunday evening. I won't talk about Game 7 on Monday if the Celtics can win tonight, but I won't give my prediction for that. I'll leave that for Monday itself. But yeah, for now we got to talk about the Oklahoma City. We got to talk about the 2 games going on both tonight and this weekend. Let's start off with the power rankings. When we're talking about this, we're talking about the 6 best teams left in the playoffs. We're talking about who's the 6 most dangerous teams in the playoffs, including momentum, including everything. I think it's safe to say that in the number 6 spot, I have to put the Boston Celtics. It's something I would have never expected, but without Jason Tatum, with the way that they're reeling, and we haven't really We can't count on every game to be like game 5 yet. If it happens again tonight, that's a different story. But in games for the number 6 spot, we have to go with the Boston Celtics, with Jaylen Brown, with Derek White. This also, before I go any further, this is an incredibly difficult list to construct. But yeah, I have to go 6 with the Celtics. These teams are also closely matched with one another, but so evenly matched with one another, I'm saying. But for 6, we got to go with the Celtics. At 5, I'm going to go with the same series. I'm going to go with the New York Knicks. And it's a shocker for a lot of people, but the New York Knicks, in my opinion, they're talented, but I think they have holes in their game. I think their offensive inconsistency is going to be their Achilles heel if they go up against the Indiana Pacers, regardless if the Celtics or Knicks do. I think the offense is going to be the Achilles heel in that series. I think the Pacers can shoot the lights out, and I think if you can't, the Pacers just say, beat us at our own game. If you can't, move on. Keep walking. Pretty much. That's pretty much what they say. Just keep walking, because they have other things to worry about. So yeah, if I'm putting the Knicks at 5 for my playoff rankings. At 4, I think I have to go with. Oh, wow, it's so scary. Do I? If you guys haven't realized, I didn't really prep for this. I'm just coming up with this on the fly, thinking about it, comparing teams quickly on the fly. But I think you guys are gonna crucify me in the comments. At number 4, I'm putting the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm sorry, but I have to. A lot of people are gonna say, put the Nuggets there, put the Pacers there. What do you mean you're putting the Thunder there? They had the best record in the NBA. They got the MVP, this, that, and the other. Everything. What are you saying? And I say, I get it. I understand. But this is a Thunder team, and compared to everybody else, this is a Thunder team that is missing a number 2 option. They're missing experience. They're missing a number 2 option. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander cannot do it all by himself. He can't, especially in the playoffs when teams like to double team him and get the ball out of his hands. We saw the Thunder missing a lot of threes down the stretch of Game 6, missing a lot of shots. Lou Dort missed shots. Cason Wallace was trying to pick up the slack, was missing shots. Jalen Williams was missing a lot of shots. Everybody around the team was just not making their shots. It was just Shai that went off for 32 in that game. But outside of that, I think there wasn't a whole lot of production from the rest of the guys around Shai. Chet Holmgren, 19 and 11. Cason Wallace, 10. Lou Dort, 10. Alex Caruso, 10. So you had a bunch of guys that went off for 10 points. But that's not going to get it done in the playoffs. It's just not. It is not. Especially against a team like the Nuggets, especially against a team like the Pacers, the Timberwolves. I think any of those 3 teams can knock out the Thunder right now. I would pick them over the Thunder, I think. As crazy as that sounds, I would pick the Pacers over the Thunder right now. Right now, I would. But that's just my take on it. And so I'm putting the Thunder at 4. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. At 3, I think I have to put the I have to put the Pacers at 3. They're incredibly young. They're incredibly experienced. I don't think there's a team that can beat them, honestly, with the style that they play. I think these 3 teams are they're in a class of their own in terms of how they play. We've seen the Thunder beat the Nuggets, but this is a Nuggets team that has also had some struggles in those games. And in the games that they've won much more decisively outside of Game 2 than the Thunder won games. I think the Thunder have won a lot of games, especially recently, Game 4 and Game 5 specifically. Game 5, they came back and won it out of nowhere. Game 4, the Nuggets came back, and then the Thunder got hot in the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. Shai got hot and finished the game, put the game on ice for the Nuggets. But that was also poor shooting from the Nuggets in those games. Poor shooting down the stretch. In Game 4 and Game 5, I think it was a 62-38 combined score in the fourth quarters of Game 4 and Game 5. in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. That continues to prove what I'm trying to say. All these teams are so close and incredibly hard to pick from one another. But I'm picking the Pacers at 3. Put the Pacers at 3 just because of their youth, their just the style they play. I just don't know exactly how good they are, and I wouldn't pick them over these two teams just simply based off of experience. At 2, I'm putting the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world. Jamal Murray, one of the best players in one of the best playoff performers right now in the NBA. Incredibly deep team. Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun, Michael Porter Jr. We saw Julian Strather show up last night. Russell Westbrook, obviously. A very deep team, incredibly well coached by David Adelman, who's done a phenomenal job since the firing of Mike Malone. Has just handled the whole process unbelievably. So major props to the Nuggets. Major props to David Adelman as he continues to play or coach at a high level. And I got the Nuggets at 2. And that leaves my number 1 spot to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are bound for the NBA playoffs or the NBA Finals right now. I think we see Anthony Edwards in the NBA Finals for the first time. And it's really not only about Anthony Edwards, it's about the team around Anthony Edwards. Julius Randle played phenomenally against the has had 2 phenomenal series, but specifically last series had almost 20 points in every game, had triple doubles, had double doubles almost every single game. This is a Julius Randle that's playing at a very high level right now, and the way he's impacting the game he's impacting in so many different ways. Offensively, defensively, being able to guard the 3 and 4 positions, being able to shoot the ball. His shot has been exceptional in that series. Was exceptional against the Warriors. And then, of course, Anthony Edwards playing at an incredibly high level, leading the team. You have Jaden McDaniels spearheading the defense in terms of on the wing. From the outside, you have Rudy Gobert anchoring in on the interior. You have guys like Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Mike Conley that can knock down shots, can give your guys rest in terms of Anthony Edwards, and the rest of the guys can give the starters rest. This is an incredibly deep team in the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think they're the best team in the NBA right now, frankly. If there was a team I had to pick to win the NBA championship right now, it's either the Timberwolves or the Nuggets. I'm not 100% sold on the Pacers yet to win the whole thing. I would pick them to come out of the East right now, but I can't pick them to win the whole thing yet. So I'm picking the Timberwolves at my number 1 spot. So Timberwolves, Nuggets, Pacers, Thunder, Knicks, Celtics. That's my 6 right there. And for playoff predictions, tonight we have Celtics, Knicks. I'm going with the New York Knicks, but stay cautiously optimistic. Oh my. I just pretty much just double crossed my state. I just pretty much crossed over my statement. I just can't. I don't want to jinx the Celtics. I don't. I do not. Do not make me. Don't make me, please. But I guess I have to roll with them. You live by the Celtics, you die by the Celtics. You live by the Celtics, you die by the Celtics. I'm going with the Celtics in Game 6. I have to. You have to roll with them. I think it's a close game, but the Celtics pull it out. I think they continue to play on the streak that they did in Game 5. I have to. My brain tells me the Knicks because I know the talent. I know the Celtics are missing key guys. But my heart cannot pick the New York Knicks ever. Ever. It's like a New York Knicks fan talking about the Celtics. They never, ever pick the Celtics. You always root against Boston if you're from New York. You always root against New York if you're from Boston. Always. Always. So, I got the Celtics winning this series, or winning this game, and then winning Game 7 as well. But we'll talk about that. We'll see if it reaches Game 7. Hopefully, I don't have to prepare a eulogy speech for Monday, even though I will be prepared. Because that is, it's like, I'm telling, like 55% of me says the Knicks are going to win. But that other 45% of me is like, it's just Celtics heart deep down. And it's the fan coming out of me. So I'm sorry about that, but I got to root for my Celtics every time. I can't pick New York, especially as a native Boston guy. Anybody that knows me from Boston would crucify me whenever they saw me. So I could not let that happen. And then for Game 7, I'm picking the Nuggets to win Game 7. I think the stars show up I think Jokic and Jamal Murray have an incredible game. I think the guys around him step up. I got the Nuggets winning Game 7 personally. So Nuggets move on to face the Minnesota Timberwolves in a rematch of the second round last year. He continues to play at a high. This team continues to get hot, continues to play at a high level. And I got the Thunder going home in the second round once again for the second year in a row. After claiming the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. This is the second year in a row. They will be, I think that they will be going home. But yeah, those are my 2 picks. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for tuning in to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mayor Fatemi. I hope you guys had... Thank you guys for supporting the show, as always. And please remember to leave a positive review in the comments below. Whether it's positive, whether it's negative, please let us know what we're doing well. Let us know what we're doing, what we can improve upon, so we can continue to create a better product for you guys every time we stream live over the YouTube airways, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you guys listen to this podcast. For more GSMC content and updates, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchat and TikTok for more content updates. The reason I fumbled that a lot is because I was trying to think of where I wanted to fit this last little nugget of information. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. Sorry, guys. Today is officially the last day that I will be on the stream as an undergraduate. So for all those people that are graduating today, I'm going to put the hat on. Even though this hat is small and it doesn't fit my head, we're still going to try and get it on here. I think that's good enough. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy graduation to anybody that is graduating, whether you're graduating high school, whether you're graduating college. Congratulations to everybody. And yeah, next time I talk to you guys, I'll be officially graduated from college. Thank you for tuning into the GSMC Basketball Podcast. This is your host, Mayor Fatemi, signing off. Bye-bye. Be back at you guys 9 a.m. Back at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Bye-bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to